Are you feeling burnt out but terrified that slowing down means losing your revenue and that your competition will crush you? I get it. I had a CEO client grinding 12-hour days. His body was breaking down so badly, he needed a spine surgery. But after showing him how to leverage his energy, he doubled his revenue while working less than 7 hours a day. I'm Shami. After a decade at Google and Apple, I help CEOs scale without burnout by leveraging their energy. And here are 10 lessons that show you exactly how. Lesson number 1. I had this CEO who was grinding 12 hours a day, even though his body was screaming in pain and he was heading straight into a spine surgery. He thought he was in peak performance flow, that magical state where time disappears and everything clicks. But he was truly only productive 2 to 3 hours a day and was just grinding the rest of the time. He was in what I call dark flow, where you've locked into constant work because you're terrified that stopping means instant failure. Once we identified the stuck energy and shifted it, within weeks, he wrapped up his work 5 to 7 hours while getting better results. So here's a lesson. Most high performers don't know they're in dark flow until their body forces them to stop. Learn to recognize which state you're in, because you can't fix what you can't see. Lesson 2. The same CEO tried everything to break through his plateau. He was trying new morning routines, time blocking strategies, and all the standard productivity hacks, but nothing worked. Turns out, productivity strategies don't work when you're running on fear. He had this deep belief that he didn't deserve to do anything other than work. Once we cleared that belief, within a month, he doubled his revenue, working 5 to 7 hours a day instead of his usual 12. So the lesson here is pick the strategy for your current level or you'll stay stuck. Productivity hacks don't work when you're running on fear. You have to address the beliefs keeping you there first. Lesson 3. I had a brutal week. Instead of sitting with my emotions, I tried to willpower my way through my business tasks. I had almost no energy left to focus. Everything felt impossible. It was only after I stopped, sat with my emotions, and gave them my full presence that I could shift out of it. Once I did that, I got into flow and rapidly completed my tasks. So the lesson here is trying to get into flow with willpower alone is like setting your GPS but running your car on empty fuel. You need emotional energy, not just mental conviction. Lesson 4. After my weekly playdates with my friend Sung, I would be emotionally charged, buzzing with energy at the height of my creativity. But I'd waste it. I'd come back and scroll through emails, clean up my workspace, and spend that energy on admin tasks. It was unnecessary but busy work. So I made one simple shift. Before the next playdate, I picked one high leverage task to get back to right after the playdate. I didn't have to create this task, I just had to play Tetris on my calendar. With all this energy acting as wind behind my back, I started to smash through my tasks. So the lesson here is match the energy you have with the energy needed by the task. You'll easily 10x your performance. Lesson number 5. I was obsessed with mastering flow. I'd already done it in competitive chess. I had won Asian medals and multiple championships. But I bought every course and book I could find to take it even further. Instead, my ability to tap into flow got worse. So I went back to the drawing board to figure out what was already working for me and why it was working. Turns out I was creating from emotional charge, tapping into my enthusiasm and my passion to move towards my goals. Most books and courses completely miss this. They treated flow like a math equation, remove distractions and manage time. They missed that emotional energy is a huge boost. Once I figured that out and started creating from passion and desire instead of chasing productivity, I started shipping products faster and started serving more people. I taught this to a client who was stuck, and he unblocked his path to 8 figures faster than ever. So the lesson here is most productivity advice misses the real fuel. When you create from desire and passion instead of chasing systems, you unlock a different level entirely. And that's what separates you from the pack. Lesson 6. I've made this mistake so many times, it's laughable. I would hit peak flow, but wouldn't stop afterward. I would keep riding the wave until I neurochemically fried myself. Then I'd crash for 2-3 days. And here's what's worse. My brain started resisting flow because all it remembered was the pain after. So I made one shift. I started exiting right after hitting my peak state when my brain naturally completes its cycle and needs rest. I'd get 4 to 6 hours of deep work, had zero crashes, and be right back at it the next day. Here's the math. When I was clinging to my flow state, I'd get about 10 flow sessions the first month, but the more I crashed, the faster I was burning out. By month 6, I had totaled about 396 hours of flow. But when I started exiting right after I hit the peak state, remember when my brain needs my natural rest, I would get 22 flow sessions per month consistently. By the end of 6 months, that's 730 hours of flow with zero recovery debt. That's 84% more flow time just by not clinging. And it's not just getting more hours, it's high quality focused work every single time. So here's the lesson. Stop clinging to your flow states and exit right after you hit the peak. Leave some in the tank. That's how you avoid burnout, do better work, and do more of it. Look, I can show you the math all day, but if you want to actually go from 10 flow sessions per month to 22 and more, you need the exercises. That's why I created a free guide that walks you through not just this lesson, but all 10 lessons we're covering today with self-assessments and daily exercises and a complete 10-week plan to actually apply this. Links in the description. And if you complete all 10 weeks of exercises, I'll give you a personalized energetic breakthrough session as a gift to take it even further. Now let's get back to lesson 7. Growing up, I had a grandmother figure I loved dearly. She made me feel worthy only when I was performing and winning trophies. So I won as many as I could. That pattern followed me into adulthood. Fear would creep in even when I was doing things that I genuinely loved. When I finally realized what was in my subconscious programming, I stopped operating from fear-based, I'm not worthy unless I keep winning energy, and started creating from a place of desire and passion. That shift gave me the courage to leave Google and build this business I love. I stopped burning out because I wasn't running from fear anymore. So the lesson here is, when you operate from fear-based beliefs, you'll stay burnt out trying to prove yourself. Shift to creation-based energy, and that's how you escape burnout and build what you actually want. Lesson number 8. I still catch myself perfecting instead of shipping. Just last week, I was stalling my latest product launch, tweaking the messaging, repositioning everything. But nowadays, I've gotten better at recognizing what's happening in these moments where this old, I'm not worthy unless it's perfect subconscious programming is running through me. In chess, repeating the same move wastes tempo, while you're repositioning the same knight for the 3rd time, your opponent develops their entire army. It's the same in business. While you and I are perfecting, our competitors are shipping, learning what works, and building massive momentum. So now I force myself to ship anyway, with all its glorious imperfections. And every time I do, I'm surprised that I get to serve more clients, build more momentum, and grow faster. So the lesson here is, if you're a high performer, you always probably feel the pull to make things perfect. But break the pattern and ship anyway, because perfectionism keeps you burnt out and stuck. Lesson number 9. Taylor Swift is one of the most unproblematic artists, and she creates art for the love of the game. And yet, she's been viciously attacked more consistently than most other artists. But she didn't let any of them knock her off her center. She stayed grounded, re-recorded her masters, went on the Eras tour, doing 149 shows across 5 continents, literally raising the economy of every place she visited, and donated $197 million in bonuses alone. And it's just the numbers we know. That's what's possible when you stay centered through it all. Here's what's wild. She gets unfairly attacked and stays centered. You and I, on the other hand, get one hater doubting us, and we are already drawing up an entirely different strategy to pivot. Every CEO I work with faces the same choice. Chase what others want and burn out building something you hate, or stay centered and build something you love. Taylor Swift chose the second path, and it's the path you want. So the lesson here is, we can't let other people knock us off our center. So here's what you do. Make decisions from your core values, not from other people's fear. That's how you build without burning out. Lesson number 10. Most CEOs think they have a business strategy problem when they actually have an energetic strategy problem. Here's what I mean. One of my CEO clients is exceptional at giving value through webinars, talks, and books. That's his natural energy. So from day one, he built his business using attraction-based strategies. Over time, he grew a newsletter of 40,000 subscribers. Here's what he didn't do. He didn't force himself to copy others' offer stacks or pricing to stay competitive. Instead, he doubled down on his magnetism. Teaching, writing, speaking, and letting his energy do the heavy lifting. And recently, a massive shakeup put a six-figure hole in his finances. This would devastate most companies, but here's what he did. He spun up a new product, sent it to his subscribers, and made multiple six figures within a couple of weeks. Not only did he recover, he had surplus to invest in new projects. What could have destroyed most companies didn't even shake him. And here's why. He picked the right energetic strategy from day one. He never burnt out building his business because he was working with his energy and not against it. So when crisis hit, he had the energy and the assets to handle it. So the lesson here is when you fight your natural energy, you burn out much faster. But when you align your business with your energy from the start, not only do you avoid burnout, but you also build assets that can weather any storm. So those are the 10 lessons. Now, if you're wondering if these principles actually work, I've got a client who healed 13 years of chronic pain and 10x her performance. She'll tell you all about the big shifts she went through. Watch her story next.